The early life of Prophet Idris. Prophet Idris, peace be upon him, lived during an early chapter in humanity's existence when people still remembered the teachings of Prophet Adam. He was born 5 generations after Adam, placing him among the earliest and most noble prophets sent to guide mankind. The time of his birth was marked by innocence, simplicity, and a spiritual closeness to the original divine message. He was born in Babylon, a region located in what is now modern-day Iraq. The earth was still young, populations were small, and humanity was concentrated in limited areas, making divine guidance especially vital. Idris's arrival was timely, as people had begun to stray subtly from the path of righteousness. From an early age, Idris displayed wisdom and piety that set him apart from his peers. He was contemplative, observant, and deeply connected to the knowledge passed down from Adam and Shith. These qualities would become the foundation of his prophetic mission in a world standing at a spiritual crossroads. His early years were spent in a society that still retained a memory of divine revelation, though moral clarity was fading. Allah chose Idris for his integrity, intellect, and unwavering devotion to truth. His life would mark a turning point for humanity's spiritual direction. The world he was born into, the world during the time of Prophet Idris, was transitioning from purity to corruption. Early generations had upheld the worship of Allah, but cracks in spiritual discipline had begun to emerge. The descendants of Qabil, who committed the first murder, were the first to deviate from divine teachings. Some of them began worshipping fire and indulging in acts that opposed the monotheistic way of life. Idolatry, once unknown, started to surface among communities that had once followed the pure path. This spiritual decline created an urgent need for guidance. Despite the simplicity of human society, the moral danger was profound and growing. People were at a crossroads where choices made would shape generations to come. It was in this fragile environment that Prophet Idris would be called to lead. He was sent to restore divine order and to call people back to the worship of Allah alone. His mission was to repair the foundation of faith before it completely crumbled. As communities grew, so did the potential for both goodness and corruption. Idris was tasked with addressing this challenge with wisdom and firmness. He was not just a spiritual leader, but a reformer who stood against the creeping shadows of falsehood. His message came at a critical moment in human history. The call to prophethood. When Prophet Idris reached maturity, Allah honored him with the sacred role of prophethood. This divine appointment came at a time when humanity was in danger of losing its moral compass. Allah entrusted Idris with the responsibility to remind people of their purpose and call them back to the truth. He was commanded to guide his people to worship Allah alone and reject the false beliefs that were gaining ground. Idris's message was clear, powerful, and rooted in the original teachings of Prophet Adam. He urged his community to abandon fire worship and immoral customs and return to pure monotheism. Idris faced many obstacles from those who had become attached to their corrupt ways. The descendants of Qabil, in particular, opposed him fiercely and refused to change. Yet Idris remained steadfast and continued to preach with patience and wisdom. His character shone through in every word he spoke and every action he took. He was not only a prophet, but a model of righteousness and justice. His leadership inspired those with open hearts to embrace the truth. The call to prophethood marked the beginning of a new era for humanity. Through Idris, Allah gave people another chance to walk the straight path. His mission would shape the spiritual destiny of future generations. The gift of writing. One of the greatest blessings given to Prophet Idris was the ability to write. He became the first human to use the pen, introducing writing to the world for the first time. This gift transformed how knowledge was preserved and passed down. Before Idris, all learning was transmitted through memory and speech. This method left divine teachings vulnerable to loss and misinterpretation over time. Writing brought permanence and accuracy to the preservation of sacred knowledge. By Allah's will, Idris received 30 scrolls filled with divine wisdom and moral guidance. These scrolls allowed him to teach with precision and leave behind a lasting legacy. His written records ensured that truth could survive across generations. The Prophet Muhammad later confirmed this achievement, declaring Idris as the first to write with a pen. This statement highlights the profound impact of his contribution. Writing became the foundation for scripture, science, law, and history. Idris's role as a teacher was greatly enhanced by his mastery of writing. He not only preserved revelation, but also taught his people to read and learn. This made him a pioneer of both spiritual and intellectual growth. His introduction of writing was a turning point in human civilization. It allowed divine knowledge to flourish and protected it for all time. The master craftsman, Prophet Idris, was also the first to master the skill of tailoring clothes. Before his time, people wore simple coverings made from animal skins and leaves. Idris introduced sewing and the use of needle and thread to craft proper garments. This advancement improved human dignity and comfort by providing clothing that was better suited to different climates and needs. It allowed for protection against the elements and reflected a sense of personal care. His craftsmanship introduced a new level of refinement to daily life. What made his tailoring unique was the spiritual consciousness he infused into it. While sewing, Idris would continually say, "Subhanallah," turning a simple act into worship. Every stitch became an expression of devotion and remembrance of the Creator. His actions taught an important lesson about faith and work. He showed that daily tasks could be acts of spiritual significance when done with sincere intention. Through him, believers learned to honor their work as part of their religious life. This approach encouraged people to view their professions as opportunities for worship. The legacy of Idris's craftsmanship spread widely and influenced future generations. His blending of practical skills with spiritual awareness remains an inspiring model for all who seek to live meaningful, God-conscious lives. The scientific mind. In addition to his prophetic role, Prophet Idris was gifted with advanced knowledge of astronomy and mathematics. He studied the movements of celestial bodies and was among the first to use the stars to measure time. His observations helped people understand the patterns of days, months, and seasons. This knowledge was essential for agriculture, travel, and religious practices. By tracking time, communities could organize planting, harvesting, and worship more effectively. Idris's insight laid the groundwork for early calendar systems. He also introduced the use of weights and measures to ensure fairness in trade. These systems allowed people to exchange goods with accuracy and honesty. His contributions created the foundation for structured economies and ethical commerce. What made his scientific efforts remarkable was their connection to faith. Idris believed that all knowledge came from Allah and should be used for good. His discoveries served the needs of society while honoring the Creator's wisdom. Through his efforts, he showed that science and spirituality are not opposites, but allies. His legacy demonstrates that seeking knowledge can be a path to understanding divine order. Prophet Idris remains a symbol of balanced progress, where learning and belief grow together in harmony and truth. The divine reward, Prophet Idris lived a life of deep devotion, wisdom, and service. His righteous deeds and continuous remembrance of Allah elevated him to a special status among the prophets. He did not seek personal gain, but strove only for the pleasure of his Lord. As Idris grew older, he longed to continue his good deeds for a longer time. He wished to extend his life so he could accumulate more rewards and elevate his rank in the sight of Allah. This desire came not from attachment to the world, but from his love of righteousness. Prophet Idris asked the angel to request Allah to grant him a longer life. The angel carried Idris through the heavens, and when they reached the fourth heaven, something extraordinary happened. The angels there were surprised to see a living human soul among them. By Allah's command, Idris remained in the fourth heaven. His sincere devotion earned him an exceptional reward. He was raised to a high station beyond the earthly realm, honored in both life and afterlife. The heavenly ascension. The journey of Prophet Idris through the heavens marked a turning point in his mission. When he reached the fourth heaven with the angel, they encountered the angel of death. This meeting was not random, but part of a divine plan. The angel of death expressed amazement, saying he had been ordered to take Idris's soul in the fourth heaven. He had wondered how this would be possible, since Idris lived on earth. Now, with Idris present in the fourth heaven, the divine decree was fulfilled with perfect precision. Idris's soul was taken in the celestial realm, making him the only prophet whose death occurred in the heavens. This event confirmed Allah's words in Surah Maryam, and we raised him to a high station. It was both a literal and spiritual elevation. His ascension showed the harmony between divine command and human devotion. Idris's desire to earn more rewards led him to a reward greater than he imagined. He was given a position of eternal honor among the righteous. The heavenly death of Prophet Idris is a sign of Allah's perfect wisdom. It reminds humanity that sincere intentions never go unrewarded. His story remains a powerful example of how devotion can lead to divine closeness. The miraculous confirmation. The unique status of Prophet Idris was confirmed centuries later during the miraculous night journey of Prophet Muhammad. known as Al-Isra and Al-Miraj. This journey took the Prophet from Mecca to Jerusalem and then through the 7 heavens. In each level, he met a different prophet. When he reached the 4th heaven, Prophet Muhammad met Idris. Idris welcomed him with love, saying, "Welcome, O righteous brother and prophet." This greeting confirmed Idris's continued existence in the 4th heaven by Allah's will. The meeting between the 2 prophets was filled with light and honor. It served as a living proof that Idris had truly been raised to a lofty place. It also reflected the spiritual connection between all the prophets, regardless of time. This encounter during the Miraj is reported in authentic narrations. It demonstrates that the prophets are honored even after their earthly missions have ended. Their stations in the heavens are a reward for their faithfulness. The presence of Idris in the 4th heaven also served to validate earlier revelations. His elevated status showed how Allah protects and honors His chosen servants. For believers, this moment remains a sign of hope and a reminder of the eternal nature of divine reward. Be preserved and shared across generations. He was also credited with discovering sciences like astronomy and mathematics. By observing the stars and patterns in the sky, he encouraged people to reflect on the order of the universe. His teachings laid the groundwork for human understanding of time, movement, and celestial order. In addition to intellectual contributions, Idris was the first to design clothes from woven fabric. Before his time, people wore animal skins, but Idris taught them to stitch and tailor garments. This invention advanced civilization and gave people both dignity and comfort. Idris's contributions show how prophets guide not only in spiritual matters, but also in practical life. He served as a bridge between divine revelation and human development. His skills benefited society and elevated their way of living. The wisdom of Idris lives on in how knowledge is valued and how human progress continues. He was a prophet, teacher, and innovator. His legacy reminds humanity that faith and intellect can go hand in hand, each strengthening the other. Lessons from a life elevated. The life of Prophet Idris holds timeless lessons for those who reflect. His devotion to truth and knowledge was matched by his humility before God. He never sought greatness for his own sake, but pursued righteousness out of love for the Creator. His story teaches that sincere effort is never wasted. Idris lived a life of hard work and continuous improvement, always aiming to please Allah. His ascension to the heavens showed that every step taken in faith is seen and rewarded by God. Through his patience, Idris overcame trials that would test even the strongest hearts. He guided his people with wisdom and kindness, never using force or pride. His leadership showed that true strength lies in calm resolve and trust in divine guidance. Idris also teaches the value of using knowledge for good. He did not hoard wisdom, but shared it to uplift others. His innovations were acts of service that transformed his society. In every stage of life, Idris remained connected to the divine. His end in the 4th heaven was not an escape, but a divine reward. His life continues to inspire believers to walk with purpose, trust, and faith. Through his example, we see that elevation comes through obedience and sincerity. The 4th heaven and eternal presence Prophet Idris was taken by God to the fourth heaven, a place of divine closeness and honor. This was not a mere relocation, but a sign of his elevated status among the righteous. His presence in the heavens symbolizes the reward given to those who live in pure obedience. In this realm, Idris continues to exist, not as a soul forgotten by time, but as a living being honored by the angels. The fourth heaven represents a level of nearness to God that few are granted. His being there is a constant reminder that true faith can lift a person beyond worldly limits. The fourth heaven is a place of light, wisdom, and spiritual clarity. Idris's soul resides among those chosen by God for their unwavering truth and trust. He stands as a witness to the power of righteous deeds and sincere devotion. Idris was not taken because he died in the earthly sense, but because his mission was fulfilled. His reward was divine companionship in a realm beyond human reach. His continued presence in the heavens is not just a past event, but an ongoing truth. For believers, this offers hope. Just as Idris was raised, so too can anyone who follows the path of truth find a place of eternal nearness to the Creator.